Of Let's Be Raw. This episode actually hits home to your girl, which I was so excited about when I met this beautiful and amazing woman we have so many parallels with our life.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Not just being in real estate, being powerhouses, brokers, and most importantly, being in business with our significant other.
Yes.
Okay. Today's topic is called Behind the Brand: Love, Loss, Legacy, the story they don't see. Mm-hmm. And so y'all know how I do. I never introduce the women that I bring onto the show because for multiple reasons. One, not only are they powerhouses, but they know how to introduce themselves correctly, and they know how to make sure that you tap in, you lean into exactly how powerful this interview is going to be today. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the woman of the hour and allow her to introduce herself and talk about who she is, not so much about what she does.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited to be here in the room with this powerhouse herself. But I am Joauna Tuck. I am a mother, a wife. I'm a multifaceted entrepreneur in business, yes, with my spouse. I am just so many things under the umbrella of entrepreneurship. And of course, above all of that, God-fearing at the end of the day. So I'm, again, excited to be here. When I say multifaceted entrepreneur, I'm a broker owner of Illustrious Realty. We have a contracting company, A&J Superior Contracting. We have a trucking company, A&J Superior Trucking, and so many things that we've done in between all of where we are today. So I'm excited to be here and talk about the happy times and the challenges of being in business. Yeah.
Right. What do you like to do for fun?
Oh, for fun, let's see. I like to eat and work out. So that's my balance between the two, because I know I like to eat, but I also like to be fit. Yeah, so I know I'm up in that 40 range, so I gotta stay in the gym. So 5 a.m. gyms are my time. That's my get in there, hit it, and start the day fresh. But those are really what I like to do.
Because I call 5 a.m. the witching hours. You will not find me anywhere but in a bed unless I got a flight to catch. Okay? All you women.
It took some time.
Did it?
It took some time to get into that.
Yeah, because I was going to say, how did that start?
So it actually started because my son did football last year, and he had to be at training at 6. So I just ended up, I was like, this is not bad. I got to get in the gym. I might get home an hour later, 20-minute nap, and I'm good. Got that out the way.
Oh, you one of them? You can nap?
Yeah, I can. Only if it's not every day. Okay. Not every day. Okay. Sometimes. If I'm super tired, I can get a 20-minute nap in real quick.
You can do it. See, I have never been able to master a power nap. Okay. My husband is the king of power naps. I'm the type that I have to. Going to sleep for me is a whole experience. I got to have the right outfit on. I'm in the bed. I want to make sure I spray some stuff on the pillow. I want the covers pulled all the way up. I want the lights off. The fan need to be going. The room temp. It's a whole experience. So to talk about, I'm going to go somewhere and just lay my head down.
Just turn on the AC for me and give me some eye covers and I can go to bed.
Listen, I'm literally going to have to try to take some plays out of your playbook. Yes. Because I'm envious of those women that can get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym. Because I can't do it.
Now I do 3 days a week. I can't do 5 days. But there are ladies that go with me to the 3 days a week. They're there every day.
Yeah, my sister is a gym rat. She now on her social media, it's been so funny because now every day you see her talking about, hey, it's your favorite meal. This is the gym fit for today. And then she want to talk about where she got the top from and the bottom from. And then she always feel like crap because she be like, now let's get our ass to the gym. And I be like, girl, I just watched the video.
Right, that's all I wanted to do.
I ain't going to the gym right now. Yeah, so what about anything else do you do that just caters to Johanna?
To me, I just I will do spa days. So I'll do self-care, whether that be actually going to the spa or sometimes I just incorporate a spa day at my house. The whole setup, wine, fruits, and everything.
Yeah, hold whole experience. At home.
Yes,
just for
just
you.
for me.
I love
I'll do
it.
that on Sundays, reset, and that's just for me. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
what I do
you
for
definitely have the sense of self-care in place.
In place, because
Has
Sundays
it always
I don't.
been like that?
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be the 24/7. I'm just going, going. But now I know I have to have a day. So Sundays are that day.
So now, if even from the real estate business,
No,
because I know
that's
you
where
know
I
real
shut
estate,
down.
we don't even get to hardly shut down not one day.
My clients
so
know
they know
Sundays are not. Now every once in a while I might get an out of town person. Okay,
And so
we'll go.
because of schedule, right.
But even then, sometimes I might call one of my agents and, hey, can you take this client out today? And my clients respect that. I mean, they know.
Those boundaries. I think it's important.
It's important.
For sure.
Very.
For sure. All right. Well, listen. Let's jump into it. So first of all, you see the brand, you see the homes, the lifestyle, and the wins. But what you don't see are the sacrifices, the risk, the grief, and the people lost along the way. What did building a business with your husband really look like behind closed doors? The parts that don't make the highlight reel. And I preface that because when this interview ends, I'm going to make sure that you know exactly how to follow her. But this chick right here, content be on point, baby. Be on point. From you, your team, everything.
Yeah.
So I know it's so easy in our industry and just in the society that we're in now to give everybody the highlight reel.
Right.
What did building a business with your husband really look like behind closed doors?
Yeah, so that is a challenge, because you do want to be authentic with your people, but you can't always tell them everything. So there have been times when I've shared, maybe a loss here and there, but you do see on social media a lot of the wins. So behind the scenes, what it looks like in building, this legacy that we have now is, I think in the beginning it was a lot of figuring out who's doing what. It was just
whose role was
whose role, right. It was just like, okay, this is what we want to do. We're starting it, like we're figuring it out. But then there comes the challenge of, okay, well, I've started doing this. I've been doing the paperwork behind the scenes. So then maybe something happens and now we got to have a conversation about it. But you're coming in and trying to change the way of what I've been doing. And, sometimes we as women, when we've done things our way, we don't always, not submit the word, but maybe submit to or listen, right? Or act it right. Yeah. Sometimes they get a little defensive because I've been doing it like this, and this is what I know is right. It may not be right, but right now I'm not hearing
in my
you
mind,
because
it's
you're
been
right.
Right. So for me, working means right in my world.
Right. So that was I would say was the real challenge, because figuring out roles without having had that conversation, it can. I mean, like I said, it just stepping on toes when you don't know. If this is what we said we're doing, then we know that's what we're doing. If I come to you for help then in that moment, okay, let's talk about it. Let's work through it. But when you don't have those roles defined and you're just trying to figure it out, especially, when we first started, let's say the trucking business was our first large.
Take us through the first business because y'all are multifaceted.
Yes, I would say the trucking business, we'll start from, we've done before that. We've tried, retail, I've done boutiques, just trying to figure out what we wanted to do because we knew entrepreneurship was in our blood and that's what we wanted to do. So we've tried smaller things, but the largest scale of starting where we are today was the trucking business. Okay. So starting that trucking business, we knew the basics, we knew what to do because again, we've started other things. But then now we have a team, we have employees we have to hire for the trucks, we have dispatchers we have to hire to get them the loads, we have all these other different roles now that we're trying to figure out getting people in place. And again, now managing these people, paying these people, right, this is a totally different thing. And then also when you hire family and friends, in some of these roles, it becomes hard for you as the business owner, especially in the beginning, separating the two. Yes, these are my friends, these are my policies, they're trying to ask me this, so how do I navigate that
right.
in between. And sometimes that would even be conversations, we would have to have, because, maybe if it were family for me, maybe I'm trying to be a little more lenient, maybe vice versa if it was some of his friends, or, whatever the case. And we're trying to find that balance to, okay, let's stay on track with the business side and make sure that we have that conversation that, this is business right now. After 5 o'clock, we friends again.
Right,
but right now, this is the relationship.
You have to leave all of that emotional part of it out of it.
And it's hard. That's a challenge.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even still to this day, I don't feel like, to me, I wouldn't want to mix it too much. It depends on what what type of role it is, but just because I love my family and friends, I want to keep it that way.
Because you touched on something, and I'm glad you said it. It sounds like prior to the trucking business, you said that you all had tried a couple of other things. So did those things you tried and they failed?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and they weren't things that I was really passionate about.
See,
so
this is that real and that authenticity, because my husband and I went through that. We tried a couple of things in the beginning and didn't go well.
Right.
And at the time, I really chalked it up to thinking that it was just that yin and yang. Like, we just could not be on the same playing field, the same page.
Right.
And what I realized was what we were trying to do was neither one of our passions.
Right.
And it wasn't our purpose.
Right. Yeah.
At all.
At all.
It was like just, hey, there's a dartboard and we're just going to keep throwing the darts and see what sticks.
What sticks, Yeah, it's important. You have to love what you're doing. I mean, if you don't, it's just a job, and you might as well go clock
work
in.
Somewhere corporate.
Right. And even when I was in corporate America, I loved what I did. So it's really just always, you got to enjoy it no matter what. And the things that we tried before, like I said, so one was retail. We tried to do a boutique. We did. I can't even think of the product name, but it was one of those
MLM.
Yeah,
Oh, honey, we did a couple of those. I tried R.A.W. I tried Mary Kay.
Yeah, I tried Mary Kay before.
Legal, when it was called Legal Zoom. At that time, I think it's something else now.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, we've tried all of that, and I realized what's so crazy. I fought against for so many years the concept of being a salesperson. And so MLM for me was, I'm a salesperson. And so I was the one, I don't like to be sold to, so I don't want to sell to anybody else. And so, but my husband experience from the time I met him was always in sales. Like, that's how I met him, right? And so it was crazy because as life progressed and we got in it, he was like, babe, you know what you're doing is selling, right? Like, why are you sitting here talking about this isn't it? And then it was like an aha moment. I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And I just need to perfect this. With the retail business, what made you start that?
So I like clothes. I like fashion. And I felt like, and I think this was maybe during COVID time too. So I feel like, okay, all we got to do is take some pictures and post it, and we go.
You see how simple that sounds? Let's just take some pictures, get a website, and boom, we making millions.
I have sisters; they all pretty. I was like, oh, y'all my models. I don't have to pay for that.
You done brought the family in already. Okay.
But again, there wasn't passion behind it, so I wasn't trying to figure out. I mean, what are people? I'm shopping for me, basically. That's what I was doing. I was shopping what I like. I'm not thinking, okay, this is my target audience, so what do they like? What do they want? No, I'm buying just everything I like.
That you like.
And then I ended up really just selling to people around me because posting on social media. I did it that one big photo shoot, and we had all that. But then it was like, okay, I don't have time to do this, so let me just order stuff and I'm gonna send it out to my people. And I was like, this is just now a task. It's not a
Well, I realize I feel like, especially since I coach people in this space, is so many people want to call it a business when it's a hobby.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And it's hard for us to want to be able to say, baby, that's a hobby there. That is not a business. Right.
Yeah.
But the fact that you didn't even let that particular, and I won't even say it's a failure, because I feel like with anything that I know I've been through, it's just been one of those stepping stones, right? The part of the ladder in order for me to get on and figure out, okay, this isn't working, so what do I need to do to get to the next step?
And like I said too, like you said, Mary Kay, I did Mary Kay before. And again, I'm just not, I like makeup, I'll wear it, but I'm I'm not
Girl,
somebody. I mean,
here's
you know,
the funny thing about me and Mary Kay. This was a time where I didn't even wear a stitch of makeup. You could. The best I could do was put some lip gloss. I didn't even have lashes at that time. I didn't know.
Nothing.
All I knew, my mother had done a really great job from early on, that she had taught me about just skincare. So her being white, me being biracial, she would always say, baby, like, she pushed me using skincare and anti-aging skincare even when I was in my 20s. And now I see the benefits of it, right? Especially, girl, when I see this TikTok out here channel talking about us 50 women. And I'm looking at these women talking about I'm 50. I'm like, baby, you look like you 70. I'm almost embarrassed to post my picture. You might feel like I'm glowing right about now, right? So she taught me that, but I had never been into makeup. So that was the other thing. I'm like, how am I trying to, I'm going to sell Mary Kay. I don't know how to put a lick of makeup on, but some lip. I didn't know how to really put lipstick on. Lip gloss was it, right?
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so you have that business. Who made the decision and the choice to say, let's go to trucking?
It was kind of my husband who started the conversation. So we had been talked to a few times about it, presented different opportunities, you know, to be able to get into the industry. And we talked about it and decided, you know, let's give it a try. And did great. I mean, after we got through the hurdles of trying to figure out who's doing what, and, you know, just getting a flow and a process, and figuring out, okay, I don't know how to do this part, so I need to bring somebody in to do it. I think sometimes that's hard too. Well, for me, I know for sure, because sometimes I have a hard time letting go.
Girl, me too, Jared.
Yes.
What's your sign? What's your sign?
Capricorn.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, us Capricorns and Aries, like, it's like, no, baby, we just gonna do it all. We don't want to delegate.
Right.
I know I feel like I'm the type where by the time I done told you what exactly need to be done, I could just go ahead and do it myself. And I know it's gonna be done the right way, which obviously is not the right way if you're truly trying to scale your business, right? I'm still learning that. But I want to stay with the trucking side of it, not only because your husband was one that came up with the idea. Even in those particular moments, how did y'all decide who was going to have what roles? Because you didn't have trucking background at that time. Did he have trucking background? Okay, so both of y'all are going into an industry where it's completely new to both of you.
So we did get a mentor. So the guy who kind of introduced, one of the people who introduced him into it and talking about it, there was a mentorship program that his wife does, kind of helps walk you through pretty much everything. Onboarding.
Were y'all doing semis or box trucks or combination?
Semis.
Okay. And y'all were going interstate? Okay. Oh wow. Girl, you really jumped out there.
Yes.
There's a couple of my girlfriends that got into it. They started with the box trucks and only stayed local or Texas. They weren't trying to do the semis.
We went everywhere.
Okay.
So I went through the program. She kind of helped structure everything, especially on my side. What I was doing, the back end, you know, setting up the office and all that. The load,
handling the loads and stuff like that.
So that's how that part started, and then I guess from there, then it was, again, not really talked about, but just kind of like, okay, I'm doing this side of it, the paperwork, you know, okay, he's handling more of the truckers directly, and things like that. So that's kind of how it just fell into place of what we were doing. But then again, you know, there were things in now trying to figure out this new payroll system, because, you know, we're getting,
most of the truckers, they want to get paid weekly, right? Yeah.
And then now we have to set up through factoring, you know, and factoring company has to pay us, and then we have to make sure that those people are also paying the factoring company, because then if not, so many days go by, they coming back and take that money from you. That's where I think, for me especially, because that was something totally different. It's not just a straight up front, this your check, you know, going about your business.
Right.
So then when some of those loads didn't get paid and now money's coming back, and, you know, you don't account for, and I wasn't accounting for making sure there's extra. I was just like, okay, everybody's getting paid the money. Right. So, that was a challenge. And then, you know, then trying to talk through and figure it out. And I think it even pushed us further with being able to communicate better, because, you know, we don't want this to cause issues, because, I mean, it is if we're not handling it properly. You know, that argument we have about a load might roll over into later.
Right. Yep. Into the bedroom.
So it helped us just figure out, okay, hold on. take a step back, let me come back to you differently. Let me explain it differently so that we can have a real conversation about it and, again, continue to try to move forward. But that didn't happen overnight. I mean, it took time to get to that place.
Do you still have the trucking business?
We do. It's not, I think we went from 5 trucks, we're down to 2.
Okay.
On purpose. We just,
because the industry has changed.
Yeah,
like I said, I had a couple girlfriends that I helped coach get into the space, and they went from the box truck to the semis, and then sold the box trucks, and now down to 1 semi, not really focusing, because just as a whole the industry has changed. Right,
for sure.
I know there's been several strikes as far as truckers have been concerned, because they didn't feel like they were being adequately paid, right. And just industry wise. So it's crazy, because that situation is a rippling effect to everybody that's in that industry. Is it a business, before we pivot to your other businesses, is it a business that you still see will be long term, or is it a business that y'all are kind of also starting to say, hey, there might be a point where we need to phase this out?
I guess it kind of depends on where the economy goes. I mean, that's honestly, it can be very lucrative if things are right. But right now, just because of where the market is, so we're not dissolving it, no, but we're not, putting full emphasis into it. So if though it continues to trend on this downward spiral, then it would probably, But overall, the business itself, if things were great and the industry were, where it should be, then we would continue.
And the reason why I asked that question is because I think a lot of times too, as business owners, whether you're in business with your significant other or you're doing it by yourself, if you're not watching the trends consistently, and you're not being real and authentic with what's happening, you could find yourself still holding on to a business that makes absolutely no sense anymore. Now, whether you're not letting that business go because of outward appearances, pride, ego, whatever the case may be, or I'm hoping it's going to turn around. I ask that question because a smart business person is also not only watching it all, but also knowing that there's a breaking point. And when that breaking point happens, we don't keep moving the needle. Right. We at this breaking point, and we already have. And that's the other thing that I want to encourage anybody watching this episode, especially if you are an entrepreneur, is one of the key things I always say is you need to be able to know when to walk away, when to fold it. Right. I did a seminar this past weekend, and what I talked about was at what point your business becomes so detrimental that it's affecting your entire lifestyle. And lifestyle doesn't necessarily have to be your material things. Lifestyle is everything. Your relationship with your significant other, your relationship with your children, your relationship with yourself mentally, right? Like, am I getting up every day in stress and trying to find the next dollar to help keep a business afloat that's already giving me the signs that it's not viable anymore. And knowing when to pivot, how to pivot, and being okay with that pivot.
I know I definitely am, because again, that's why I stopped Mary Kay. I stopped trying to do the clothing line, because I saw when it was like, okay, now for example, like Mary Kay, it became more of, okay, I'm just trying to host these parties. I'm spending money to host these parties, and people are showing up, they're coming, but it's not
the sales.
The sales is not adding up. I just made enough money to pay off what I put into the party.
That's right. Break even.
Break even. And then the clothes, it started being, okay, I'm starting to buy too much because I'm seeing too many things I like for myself.
And
now
these
clothes are just sitting
on the closet is full.
It's full. Right. And then the pile of clothes that I haven't sold, because I'm not doing the work behind it. So I definitely don't have an issue saying, okay, this didn't work. Let's pivot.
I
and
love
move to the
that
next.
because a lot of people don't. And I think what makes it even harder, unfortunately, is the day and age that we're in with social media, that when we have put it out there for so long and everybody is just like looking and it seems great, and then all of a sudden you got to say, no, I got to close this down. We get caught up in what everybody else thinks. And I'm at the point now where I'm like, unless you help contribute to try to keep these doors open, no pun, forget you. Like, for real, right? Because that's real. Okay, so we got the trucking business. So tell me when the trucking business started.
Trucking started 2021.
Okay.
Somewhere around that, 2020, somewhere around there.
So how do we go from trucking to real estate?
To real estate.
Yes. Tell me about that.
Well, so I've been in real estate. I've been in and around real estate for over 20 years. My dad used to be a real estate agent. So with there, I used to be a admin assistant at RE/MAX back in high school. And I used to shadow him and try to help him with different things. So it's kind of really always been in my blood. But then I went on, you know, trying to figure out my life, what I wanted to do, and went into corporate America as an HR manager, recruiting, and got up to the level of VP recruiting at the bank. And then there was a layoff. But during this time, right before the layoff, I had already been thinking about, okay, I want to get my license and start pivoting into that. But I didn't. So then that layoff happened, got my severance package. I was like, okay, now's the time. Went and got my license, did the fast track, and started. And then right as the time, as I'm finishing, and you know, I started a little slow. That 6 months, they called me back at the bank and was like, you want to come back? I was like, okay, this is perfect time.
Right.
So I went back, and I did dual for both about 2 years, but I had become busy and still trying to balance though between the two, because I was working remote a little bit, so I had some flexibility. But then now I have 2 boys who are doing sports. You know, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm trying to juggle the two, right, all the things. So it came to a point where I was like, okay, I got to make a decision, because this is a lot. I enjoyed my job in corporate America, but also, you know, like the freedom
and
of
the lifestyle with your children, and all of that.
So kept talking to my husband about it. He was kind of like, and then one day I got like a little, once I got that I was like, okay, that's all I need. I don't need a full yes.
Right. You
I
just
got that
well.
Right. Okay. Once I got that then I went and put my notice in and never looked back. And that's been what, 7 years? No, it was 7 years ago.
Okay,
in
so
January.
that was before the trucking
that I started real estate.
Okay, so real estate, you started truly from that side of it was before the trucking.
Yeah, but I didn't really treat it, I guess, more so as a business.
Okay,
it was just
sort
me
of like
being
an add-on wraparound to whatever you were doing. When did you go full-time real estate?
So that was still before trucking. So that was 6 years ago. January this year made 6 years.
Okay,
and hold on, wait, it was a 6? No, I'm sorry. So 7, 8, 9. So this year was the numbers of my real estate career. So it was 7 years ago that I put in my resignation.
Okay.
8 years was the year that I was just completing real estate, and I was going into year 9 this coming year. So it was 7 is completion, 8 is new beginnings, and then 9 is the next chapter.
Okay, so 7 years is when you went full time and said, this is my passion, this is my purpose. I'm going all the way in, right?
Yep.
I don't have no safety net as far as corporate is concerned. So 7 years ago, that would have been 2019. Okay. Yep. All right, so real estate. I know you've been around it, so that makes sense, because I was curious about that. And I always feel that true, powerhouses and true people that have a passion and a love for it, they've been around real estate for a long time and don't realize it. I talk about it in my book, Pieces of Me, how I remember being 12, 13 years old, and I lived with my father. And it just started living with him and my stepmother. And we moved into, at the time, I thought they had purchased the house. Didn't necessarily, obviously, know renting versus purchase. I didn't know that. I knew renting as far as apartments were concerned, because that's what my mother and I and my siblings lived in. But for whatever reason, at a young age, I thought if you move into a house, you must not own this house, right? So I assumed that. And also because we get into this house and my stepmother didn't like, it was a 1-story home, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and but it was outdated. Like, it had that paneling all on the living room wall, right? And wallpaper in all the other areas. And so my uncle, one of my uncles, my dad comes from siblings of like 16. And so one of my uncles was in carpentry. And so he came over, they wanted carpet pulled up and repaint and bathrooms remodeled and all of this. And I'm around him. Now I got a brother. My brother had absolutely zero interest, in taking something old and making it new. And I didn't even realize until years later, looking back on it, how I was so intrigued by, and I remember watching him, and that was truly carpentry at that time, where he had the whole knee pad on, and how they would kick, the pad up underneath the baseboard and all of that, and seeing him doing that and ripping the tacks and everything up. And so we remodeled that entire home, and even the little bit that I did, and then not realizing how it had set the foundation. And then I got into property management, and then from property management and renovations. And so realizing that I had touched real estate as early as 12, 13 years old. And it's like you said, it was in my DNA all along. Okay, so we're in real estate now. But you also have the trucking business, which is also a full-time commitment too, right?
Yeah. So we were able to kind of leverage that a little bit, the trucking, where we were more hands-off. So I think that's the benefit that allowed us to catapult into other avenues. Because
that business really kind of ran itself at that time.
Once we figured things out, it runs itself.
So now you're into real estate. Now, is your husband in the real estate business as well?
So not in the beginning. So he was still in corporate America. Then COVID came, and during COVID is when they had some layoffs. Now, me and my mother-in-law is also an agent out in Killeen. And we had already been kind of talking to him about, probably doing something like a loan officer. So COVID happened, layoff happened. Perfect time, go get your license. And so then he started, now he's a loan officer.
Girl, I did not realize you have so many synchronicities that come along with. I didn't know that about your husband. And he actively, so he is your loan officer in the business. Wow. Okay.
So
now, this is one of these real raw and authentic moments that I want to talk about, because when my husband and I had always been in some form of real estate. Matter of fact, when I met him, my husband had he had a rental home, and then the home that he had purchased, and then me and my oldest son eventually moved into before we built our family from that. So my husband, initially when I met him, had two rental properties, or two properties. He had a rental property that he had first lived in, then moved out of, and then built his home. So for him, he had kind of already been touching real estate, even though at that time I was in property management. So I was touching real estate on a whole nother level. And so fast forward to, we're here in Texas, 2014. I started a corporate housing business with some other investors for 2 years. It didn't necessarily work out. And then I was kind of like you. I was like, look, I do not want to go back into corporate America. What do I do from here?
Right.
And it made sense for me to get my real estate license, because I was dealing with so many clients that were relocating here, and they were getting temporary housing. And then after the temporary housing, it was, Deanna, can you connect me with a realtor, because I need to buy.
Right.
I would do that, and they would have bad experiences and come back. So it's like, I'm literally letting money walk out the door. Does make sense? So my husband I got together and decided, okay, yes, go ahead and go get your real estate license. Let's start the real estate business and this, that, and the other. And so I started, and in my mind, I birthed it. I mean, name, idea, logo, everything, right? And so the whole concept initially with my husband and I was, we had a time frame. It was, we're not going to live above the means of just his salary, because we had tried entrepreneurship early on. Epic fail. And so what we also saw was, from a business standpoint, one, having all your eggs in one basket, right? Two, not necessarily understanding the volatile nature of any type of market that you're in. And so my whole thing at that particular time was, okay, he said, babe, 5 years, 5 years of, I'll continue to stay in corporate America and everything. You build the business, right? So I had 5 years of me building a business where, I might go and ask for some input. I'm just being transparent. But I won't necessarily asking for input. It was more so, let me say a few things so that you feel like you included, right? But ultimately, in my mind, this is my business. I'm going to make this decision the way I want to make it, right? So fast forward to right before COVID, 5 years, my husband's like, babe, I'm tired. I don't want to be in corporate America anymore. I'm seeing you build our legacy. You're doing it by yourself. I want to get in. I was so hesitant I was hesitant on multiple reasons. I was hesitant on, I think you can get caught up and comfortable with obviously this guaranteed paycheck over here. Because it wasn't a lot, there was stress, but it wasn't the level of stress that if I had to deal with the ebbs and flows of real estate, and you're very familiar with it, right? That at the end of the day, my husband had a solid income and a nice 6-figure income coming in. That the bills were going to be paid. Right? So when he come to me, I'm like cringing because there's one side of me that I'm like, how dare I go and say to my husband, you can't come out of corporate America. We need that paycheck right there. But in the same breath, this man is saying, look, I've been behind you this whole time. I don't want to keep punching the clock for somebody. So we finally, COVID, it's funny how so much, again, of our stories, like COVID was so pivotal for us because at the same time, the company that he was working for, they ended up having to completely either let people go or drastically cut hours and pay. Now, he was so high up. He was the number one guy from the owner of the company. So the owner of the company couldn't afford to lose my husband. But he was like, I can't afford to keep paying you either. So by this time we had had Knight and Real Estate Group and Knight and Investment Properties, and those had done well. And so my husband was like, baby, the missing piece is exactly what you said. Baby, we're giving all of this business out to banks and we're not getting any of the money, so we need the lending side of it. So I'm gonna go get my MLO. I'm like, all right, great. I don't know about you, but let me tell you what happened. I did not give my husband the same grace that he gave me to build a brand new business. I felt like he should have hit the ground running immediately. I felt like business should have been coming in. And it took, even now it's 2025, we started Knight and Lending Group literally 2 weeks, March of 2020, when COVID hit. And then everything in our industry changed, right? And for 2 years after that, when I tell you I rode his ass, you ain't up? You ain't working? I'm confused right here. So I'm curious, and I think, again, for anybody watching this and talking about that they're getting into business, what I truly feel is the reason why my husband and I now 5 years later can still be successful and working together. I truly account, a big part of it is for the number of years that we had been together and had already been through some stuff. I don't think that my husband and I would have been able to survive if we were 1-2 years in talking about building a business together.
It's definitely, because you're still, now you're learning your person in a new way.
Because it's funny because all the years that my husband worked in corporate America, because I was outside looking in, and he would come home and talk about his wins, and he had this award, and he had won a trip for us to go here. Like, I had this image and this persona about my husband's work ethic. But it was crazy when we got into the thick of it and working beside each other. I would tell him, I was like, I don't know what kind of work ethic you got. It ain't my work ethic. And that we laughed off camera, right? We talked about having naps. Girl, let me tell you, I'd be in my office. I get up in that office early. I'm working from sun up to sundown.
And he had a nap.
This Negro done came down from his office, and he done figured out how to carve out time to have an actual lunch break. Okay? He got a lunch break. And after he have a lunch break, he on the couch. I would come out and hear snoring. When I tell you how many times I want to hit him upside his head, like, how you got time to be out here having
naps and lunch?
When I'm up in this office stress, it caused a lot of problems.
I think on our side, it was a little different because he's also always had that hustle, figure it out, I'm gonna find it mentality. So when he started, and by being pushed, being laid off, it's like a little different. Okay, I gotta, do this. I gotta figure it out. And, COVID was a different time in real estate too. So thankfully, things were able to flow easier, and the agents were coming and all these things. So, but I do feel like, we definitely worked. It was that 24/7. I didn't know how to nap then. I didn't know how to take time to myself.
So you would have up sundown.
And I think we both were that way too. And again, it was figuring out each other, now working in a new capacity, because you know, you don't want to say things. So you might have a client, you send them that way. Now, if it were an outside lender, you're going to handle it differently when you need something. You know, it's your husband, you want to be more gentle. You might want to, you know, because I don't want this to roll into later. And then it might be, okay, well, you know, if you were somebody else, I'll have to say, you know, but you got to figure out how together, like how to make it work, because this is more than just this business. This is our relationship. This is, you know, our children are watching, you know, everybody's watching and seeing these things, and we still want to show up for each other in the same breath, you know. So I feel like,
so y'all had that down pat.
That part.
Oh no, girl, no, no, sirree. When I tell you, I would sit there and I would send Claude a client. Now it's perfect now. When I tell you, we have such a rhythm that is so amazing. But in the beginning for us, I was the type that I sent you my client. I expected consistent communication. I don't want to be coming and ask you, where are we in the loan process? If my client, you tell my client they need to send you certain documents and they haven't gotten it to you in 24 hours, you need to come and let me know so that I can follow this. And that wasn't my husband's way. My husband's way was, I'm gonna take it all the way through the process and then I'll get with you. That is not gonna work for me.
Right.
And he would even say, he was like, I feel like you are harder on me. And I'm like, I'm not hard on you, but I have higher expectations of you. And when I tell my clients that the reason why they should buy into Team Green, that means what they're getting from me, they got to be able to get it from you. And so having a conversation he started it in 2020. Absolutely no business happens for the first year, except for from my clients, like where I brought in commercial people or whatever. So there was for me, there was a sense of resentment, because I was like, I'm still doing the work. Like, what are we doing here, right? 2022 comes around, real estate is going well, but again, I feel like, okay, I get that now I need to give you some grace, but it's been 2 years. Baby, look, this is not working for me. And so to the point, and the great thing is my husband and I have had this conversation. He knows I'm not saying anything he hasn't heard. But 2022 was a great year for us in real estate, but it was a bad year for us in our marriage. Because I, at that time, felt like I was doing and handling so much and building these entities. And I didn't necessarily, like, I literally would question him. I would say, I feel like the level of commitment and dedication that you gave a corporate entity, you weren't doing the same with our business. Like, I watched you. I knew when you had sales goals or you needed to get a team in line or there was baby, won't nobody have to tell you anything. But 2022, I went to God and I said, Lord, I feel like we two ships in a night. I don't know what's happening, why I'm feeling this way, but I need for you to come in and help this. And what he revealed to me was, number one, I didn't give him grace. I didn't give him grace for the fact that not only was he starting a brand new business, but he was starting a brand new business in an area that he knew nothing about. I had an advantage because real estate had always been in my blood. Right. I loved it. The passion of it was there. But this man was building the mortgage side of it. Besides us closing on our own deals, he had never, ever, ever worked alone from that standpoint.
And I think my husband hadn't either. But again, I think he just, you know, it's like, I know I got to provide. I know I need to do this. I know I need to do that. That's one thing I can always say about him, is that he has that in him. Like, he doesn't want to let anything, no ball drop, no nothing happens. If I need some help, you know, he's going to be there and make sure that he's done whatever he has to do, you know, to make sure his family is good. So on that part, but again, sometimes that structure of how things are handled, like you said, kind of, you might have had goals at the job, so now we got to figure out how you're going to set these goals in this business, and relaying it and talking to each other respectfully. I think that also was the challenge. I mean, because, you know, I want to tell you exactly what I want to say, and I wouldn't talk to somebody else like that, or I wouldn't hear them that way. But you, my husband, you know me a little bit more, so I might address it differently with you. I don't, right. So, I mean, so that definitely was, you know, some time that we had to overcome how to communicate what we need done, you know, to each other without making it defensive or without making it an attack. You know, it just had to be real and authentic, you know, how we approached it. Again, took time though. It took time.
Absolutely.
Took time.
And I think that's the real side of it, that at the end of the day, I would not want to be building this empire with anybody else but my husband.
Yes.
I can say that 10 toes down. But I think that this whole interview is, again, to help the person on the other side of the camera that is thinking about getting into it, or maybe if you're currently in it, and the weight of it, because it's already a challenge to maintain a marriage, right?
Yeah.
Maintain a healthy marriage, maintain a marriage where you got two individuals with two different type of ideas and thoughts and emotions and all of that. And then you say, now I'm also going to wrap in our livelihood, the business side of it. We really, like, it's crazy because my husband's office is upstairs, our office downstairs. And even I've said to him recently, I'm like, yo, like, we have to be okay with that when the office hours end and we're in the bedroom, that it's a different type of conversation. It can't be the same conversation that we've talked about for 8-9 hours. There is absolutely
hard.
It is.
It's very hard. That's very hard.
Like this morning, this is one of those mornings where I just could not get out the bed early. I had tossed, for whatever reason, tossed and turned last night. There was a million things going on in my head. And I was like, okay, Lord, I just need to lie here for a minute. And so I finally wake up and I'm still getting my thoughts together. And my husband is immediately into oh my God, baby, guess what? I'm talking to this person, that, whatever. And I was like, okay, like, I'm really still trying to be in this moment of, I ain't really trying to think about work.
Peace.
Right? But it's like you said, it's hard to do that. It's hard.
It is. I mean, especially when that's your person. I mean, that is your best friend. That is somebody who you're doing life, business with, all these things. I mean, you want that to be the person that you're sharing it with. But just figuring out the time and the place. I mean, 8 o'clock at night, when you just ate dinner, getting ready to go to bed, that's not the time. We can talk about this tomorrow morning. But it was hard to turn that off, you know, in the beginning. And some days it still is hard. You know, it might be something, okay, I just got to get this out today. And, you know, we make time, we make grace for that. That's okay. We can do that now. But in the beginning, trying to figure that out, it was like 24/7. And I think that's kind of where, too, when I figured out when I needed to make sure my self-care was happening, when to make sure my day off was happening. I don't work on Sundays. Like, I don't. Now I have agents, so I might have to take a phone call or something for them.
But for the most part, that's my day.
That's my day. And even my agents know Sundays, you know, a contract, nothing's gonna happen on a Sunday. Like, it'll Monday morning when we in the office, let's talk about it. But, you know, again, here and there. But Sundays are that day where or it don't have to be Sunday, but you got to figure out what it is. And even if it's just, sometimes for some people, they like to just, working out is just the thing. And again, that's just my thing to keep me through the week, but that's not my shut off and make sure that I'm sane and okay for life. I mean,
first time you had to fire a family member. That wasn't even one of the questions, but I'm curious how did that play out?
Well, so it wasn't firing. It kind of came to a place, and, you know, I love you, baby brother.
Oh, it was your brother?
Yeah, it was my brother.
That was real close. Okay.
It was with the trucking business, and, you know, it would be, and on both ends, you know, you see things differently, you know, so it's again, this part I don't know, but it might be, okay, this is my sister, this is her business, okay, I can, maybe not get up today or not be here or tell her I need to do this and tell them I need to do that, versus, if it's a company, you got to give a notice, or you got to, it might be a strike if you do that, it might be this. So, and again, of course, so my family, we're super, super close. So yes, it's a soft place. So then my husband would be like, okay, Joanna, you got to talk to him. We gotta have him there all next week or whatever. So he worked with us. He left, came back one more time. And after the last time, it was like, okay, we got to have a real conversation. I don't want anything to ever happen and we not talk or anything happens because of business. I said, so I feel like we really got to figure out like where can we help you go to sustain everything, because I really want the relationship with us to remain, because I'm not with my family, I'm not going to be that hard person that I am, and I know I'm not going to be, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to be, let's just find and figure it out and make it work. And he agreed. It was great that we had the conversation, because I felt like if we didn't have that conversation, then there would have been that little
changed the relationship.
Chip on the shoulder that we, so.
My oldest son was the same way, where he wanted to get into it. And this is the crazy thing, is I was like, when you are in the midst of it, you are absolutely amazing. And for me, that's where I kept allowing the grace, because in my mind, I had rationalized, right? Well, when he's in it and he's doing it, he on point, baby. He knows I'm OCD. We both self-diagnose ourselves with ADHD. So I'm like, if there's nobody else, like even down to a picture on the wall, my son knew. I could look at it and tell you, it's off about a half of a centimeter. He knew my mama gonna catch that right there. But just getting him going and ramped up with it was a struggle. And I finally had to go to him and I said, son, I love you to death, but I don't want the relationship anymore with you where I'm now feeling like I'm truly your employer and I'm having to come at you this way. Because first and foremost, I'm your mother. I'd much rather want the relationship of being your mother and us having that, because that's going to sustain the test of time versus this business over here. But even then, it was hard, because for me it was like, we're over here building this dynasty for our children, right? Our family to be able to benefit off of this. So, that's hard too. I mean, because it is. I mean, you want your family, you want everybody to win, you want these things. But I think also it might come, okay, well, maybe later down the line I can do this. Once I get some more things in place. I think because it was the beginning of the trucking business, and again, me and my husband are still trying to figure things out. So now I got, now I have family in the mix. So that just created a whole, lot of stuff, friction and everything,
so yes, I mean, I still want my family to be a part, but it got to be at the right time, when I know, okay, maybe it's not me now you're talking to, it's somebody else, versus that. So, and
then that way you can kind of self-remove yourself. Let's see.
And I'm trying to think, was there any other?
So here was a good part of, I think we kind of skimmed over, you told me why also you really actually got into real estate, and you mentioned it with your father. So losing your father just as you opened your brokerage must have been incredibly difficult. How do you carry his legacy in a way that you lead and serve today?
Yes,
I got that already. Look. Our tissue is ready. Go on and get it. Listen.
I be crying. But
first of all, tell me, because it sounds like obviously your father was your hero.
Yes.
Your first love as a man.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
Colin Bond Jr. He was the man. I mean.
Go ahead and keep talking. Keep talking, because the camera gonna go to you.
Okay.
Tell Jordan.
He was the man. He was the provider. He was there. He was the if you were having a bad night, his song to us was always "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." He would just sing that to us till we fell asleep, or whatever.
Wow.
My dad, he's a veteran. He served, and he committed himself to real estate. It wasn't banking actually first. Okay. Banking was his first, and then I'm not sure. I was so young. I don't remember how the transition happened. Okay. But got into real estate, and all I saw was his passion for it too. Because again, he was always talking about his clients. You know, I saw the appreciation and the love that the clients had for him. And my dad was very mild mannered and meek, kind of like I am. And he was just always so proud of everything that his children have done. He had a stroke, so he's actually had a few strokes, but his last stroke, which was about 20 years ago, was pretty major. So he couldn't do real estate anymore, couldn't do any of those things. So every time when I got into real estate and every time I talked about it, he was just, that, lit him up.
He was like, just finally, what I've done all these years has been transferred. Right.
So he would always ask me about it. And that last stroke, as the years progressed, you can always understand exactly what he's saying, but you knew what he was talking about, and you knew he was excited. And you might catch, real estate, and then he'd just talk and smile, and I'd be like, yeah, everything's great. And so then my brokerage started, so I was able to share it with him, tell him about it, that it was starting, basically, got in the LLC. This was this is where we at, 2015. So this was 2023.
Okay, got it. So 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay, got it.
When I was starting. And then, so January 24, I got it actually opened.
They were open.
But he was starting to feel it wasn't as great. So I shared it with him, not sure if he fully understood it. But then February came, his birthday, we still talked about it. Every year we go out to eat with him, no matter what's going on. Whoever's here, my siblings, we all go out to eat. So that year, everybody got to go to dinner that night. And then March is when he passed, in March last year. And it really hit me when he passed. One, not being able to share, continue to share what he's put into me, what's going on. Before he passed though, and this is how people just know when it's time, but he told my sister, he was like, all my kids, it's 7 of us.
Wow.
7 of us total. Same mom and dad.
Same mom and daddy. Okay, now.
7 of us. And he was like, all kids good. He was like,
where did you fall in the 7?
The oldest. Yeah, I'm the oldest. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, there's
I'm the
even
oldest.
more pressure put on the oldest. Because we set the bar.
Right.
We're like, it's like, this one and everything that this one does, everybody else needs to top it or at least be on the same level. Right.
Yeah. And everybody has succeeded in life. We got counselors, nurse, flight attendants. He was happy. And he told my sister, all my kids, he was like, they're good. He was like, I'm good. And she was kind of like, confused.
Yeah, because he's coming to the realization. Right.
And that was 2 days prior to. Yeah. And the crazy thing is I got to spend the day before he passed, that evening, I was with him. He was getting a new chair from the VA. We set it up and everything. And then, that next morning.
So he's with your mom. So, is your mom still?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have been together. They never got a divorce.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Listen, I'm all about that old love, right? They like, look, we gonna be. I tell my husband, I was like, you can go over there in that room upstairs, but ain't no divorce. I don't know how we gonna figure this out, right? I done put too much time and effort into this, right?
Yeah. So, So
that's last year. You've started the brokerage.
Yeah. And now I'm continuing it proudly. I mean, I was already super proud, but now just even more so knowing that, this is a part of his legacy. So something that I want to do is eventually start, some kind of foundation or something in light of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, he has everything to do with who I am today. I mean, you know, him and my mom, but more with the career, my dad is definitely
I played a major part in it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like during that time you lose your father and everything, like how long did you grieve?
So,
because I know in our real estate industry,
I was about
stuff
to say,
keep going, and you just gotta keep going, right?
So grief, it doesn't end. So I'm still grieving.
Okay.
But kind of to answer that, so I had already had a photo shoot set up for the agents that had started in the beginning with me. Let's see, that was April. So April I had it set up. And people were like, you know, you could reschedule.
Right.
I was like, my dad wouldn't want me to do that.
And
he
honor
wouldn't want me.
him. We got to keep going.
He wouldn't want me to do that. So I showed up. We continued, and I really pressed forward. And I'm very, very sensitive. So they knew, okay, we can't talk to her too much about it because she's gonna be like, okay, stop.
Yeah, because you still got to be on camera, right? Looking slave to the gods, right?
Yeah. So I think for me, the part that made it easier in terms of not like going into a depression or anything like that is because he was ready. He told us how proud he was of us. So after he passed, the butterfly was coined like him. I don't remember exactly how, but after the funeral, we all just started seeing blue butterflies is his thing. And a butterfly landed on my sister. And you know, butterflies don't just stay there.
No, they don't.
It stayed there long enough for her friend to get a video of it.
And everything.
The day after he passed, I had a client set up. And first I was going to get somebody to show, which I should have. But when I went out, then I was like, okay, I shouldn't have did this. But a butterfly was in the backyard of the house because I was letting them look. I was kind of, you know, off in space, and I was just looking out. I was like, a butterfly? Okay, Daddy, okay. I am supposed to be here. I see you. Right. Or, you know, you comforted me because you know. And yeah, that I think having seen all of those things after was just confirmation that, you know, you're still doing the right thing and
keep pressing forward, baby girl.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Wow! Oh my God! Okay, because that was heavy, but it was also light.
Yeah.
Right. Guys, listen. This has been another amazing interview. Season 2 is starting to come to a close. The women that I've had on, as you continue to watch season 2, our goal is to continue to make sure that I bring the powerhouse women, the women that are willing to be real, raw, authentic, willing to, you know, not just show up for the gram, but show up for you. So make sure, again, you continue to subscribe, like, and share, and comment. And here's what's happening on the next episode. So next week's episode is A Mother's Truth, Looking for Love, Left with Questions with Stacey Barclay. So until next time, we'll see you then, and we hope you have an amazing, amazing week. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.